We're about to talk about Galamsey, illegal small-scale mining. The president, as I did indicate, met with some chiefs and MMDEs in the ones in whose areas this Galamsey business is endemic. It is really thriving. And the president is asking them to take the fight, to lead the fight against illegal mining, because these things are happening within their jurisdiction. Some say the president's talk is not enough and that he needs to do more. For instance, some have said he needs to get these MMDCs to pay a political price if Galamsey is still thriving in their jurisdiction. So we want to look at that matter. And also the NDCs held a news conference and they're saying that what the president is saying, he doesn't mean it, and that the president knows what to do. He has evidences of persons who are involved in Galamsey. It's been brought to his attention. He's doing nothing about it. And so what does this talk about? MMDC should take charge and help the government or the state to fight Galamsey. I still have with me Mr. Eric Chum, who is a communications team member of the New Patriotic Party, and also there's Titi Kateno, who's also a communications member of the opposition NDC. Mr. Michael Niabe works with the Frederick Ebert Stiftung or Foundation, and also Mr. Joe Jackson, who is the Director of Operations, Dalex Finance. He's got some very interesting views to share on small-scale illegal small-scale mining. Let's watch the president briefly, and then we'll also watch the NDC's presser, and then we'll come and express our thoughts on this matter. Stay tuned in.
Welfare of the state of the lands is our joint responsibility. Historically, we discharge that responsibility well. Even though for centuries we have been a mining nation, mining did not pose a threat to the health of our environment and water bodies. The rules that you put in place for mining ensure that the sanctity of our lands remained intact and our water bodies remained unpolluted. Tragically, in the modern era, that is no longer the case. And that is why I've come to you today to talk about how together we can repair this dramatic situation. Since I took office on 7th January 2017, nearly 6 years ago, I have made it a central feature of my presidency to lead in the efforts to rid our country of this madness, which we all now call Galamsey. Indeed, it was an important aspect of my inaugural address of that day. It has not been easy, it has not been popular, and we have not got the immediate results that I was looking for. Indeed, in the last elections of 2020, my stance on the issue cost my party and I significant losses in the mining communities. It turned out that my statement that I was putting my presidency on the line in the fight against Galamsey was neither bombast nor recklessness. It was the simple truth. We have tried many initiatives, including that of the community mining scheme and the establishment of a new legal regime for dealing with the perpetrators of this phenomenon, which has imposed severe sanctions on those Ghanaians and foreigners convicted of illegal mining. Still, we have not won the fight.
It has, however, been clear to us from day one that behind the facade of the so-called Galamsey fight of the Akufo Addo government is a well-crafted ruse designed to appropriate the illicit Galamsey trade for MPP apparatchiks and higher-ups in the Akufo Addo government and their foreign collaborators. The Akufo Addo MPP government has not exhibited any genuine commitment to the fight against illegal mining. And that their so-called fight against Galamsey is nothing but a scam. Aside this, ladies and gentlemen, is the matter of the DCE for Bosome Freho in the Ashanti region, Honorable Yao Danso, who was clearly caught on tape directing party people on how they should use Chinese to front their Galamsey activities. President Akufo Addo's claim that his errant DC has lost his mother and will be invited to Accra for questioning at a later day after he buries his mom clearly betrays the president's lack of genuine commitment to punish his own appointees who are behind the illicit business. We demand the immediate prosecution of all government functionaries and MPP officials who have engaged in illegal mining, such as Charles Bisu, Chama Wuntumi, the evidence is clear, the Minerals Commission, your own Minister for Lands and Natural Resources say Chama Wuntumi is doing Galamsey in the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve. You don't need any other evidence before you can prosecute him.
All right, so that was the National Communications Officer of the NDC, Mr. Sami Jefi, addressing the press on what to make of the president's meeting with the chiefs and the MMDCEs. And as you heard him quite clearly, he says the president is indulging in what you call, in a business of dishonesty, insincerity, and double standards. Let's come back and interrogate what the National Communications Officer has said, and indeed what the president himself has been saying, that he's still committed to fighting Galamsey, even though in the 2020 elections, it cost his party some votes, but he's not going to give up. But some have said it's not enough, he needs to do a bit more. Let me start with Mr. Titi Kateno, because, you know, I started where Richum and Titi Kateno, so I'm going to start with Titi Kateno. Titi Kateno, you had a news conference. We had the National Communications Officer. You don't trust the president. You think the president is engaging in mind games and that he should do better in fighting small-scale or illegal small-scale mining. Trying to help us explain, and please, you have 5 minutes to do because we need to manage the time. Yes. We can do 5 minutes each and they can come and mop up. You know? Okay. Yes.
My 5 minutes
starts. Yes.
Okay. More, I'll wrap it.
Right.
We think that the president is a scum when it comes to illegal mining in this country. Why do we say so?
Moro.
Well, he says when it, no. He says when it comes to small scale mining.
You see, but when you
he says when it comes to small scale mining.
When you bring me, I'm just making my point. When you bring me on a platform like this,
right,
and you allow these things to happen, the next time I won't come here because I will not.
Okay,
because I don't want to go into
consent.
I mean, if you're talking about scam and people who are scam,
right,
I think that it's very rich coming from him. Right. You see, we want to have it. People at home today is Saturday. They
decent
want
conversation.
Decent conversation.
Right, that's fine.
This whole obsession on people days and all of this that doesn't go. There's a plethora of things that I can say regarding how the NDC managed Galamsey. Okay. Right, and I can use words. I mean, we all been to, at least we had the benefit of some kind of education. Right, we can use words. I think that you need to caution him.
You want to start, so maybe you can.
Right, you need to caution him in terms of the language. To be honest,
the challenge is not about whether he starts.
Yeah, you need to caution him. I mean,
he thinks that Mr. Titi Kateno must watch it.
This whole 5 minutes of fame won't work.
Please, if you can look, I still think that you can use other words to describe the president, but it doesn't have to be unwholesome. You know, I don't know how to put it, but you can still say what you want to say without using the word scam.
Okay.
You don't trust the president.
Very well.
Okay.
2016, 2017, the MPP took power, and President Akufo Addo said he was going to try to end Galamsey.
Right.
He put his presidency on the line. We appreciated that. After, there has been a series of issues that have come up throughout this Galamsey, for which me, as Kateno, and my party NDC, we do not appreciate it because we think that these events still point back to the MPP as a party. And I have always been saying that if the fundamentals to end Galamsey is wrong, and you continue to engage your party functionaries as MPP to be doing Galamsey, bodies will expose you. And that's what we have today. Because the fundamentals to stop Galamsey is wrong. And if you, the president, will not stop your party functionaries, the water bodies will expose you, and that is what we have today. So if I say that the president has failed on this fight of Galamsey, I have a basis to say it. And I will iterate or list these things that will make you understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
One, we're in this country when there was a ban on Galamsey for 2 strong years. I am not an agriculturist, neither am I an environmentalist. But I know that if a stream, you stop digging in a stream, 2 years is enough time for the original color or the water body to bring itself back. But during these 2 years, we had series of reports. We had missing excavators. 500 were seized out of this. My brother, we heard that voice of the video, which happened in Professor Frimpong Boateng's office with MPP party functionaries, why they said that party Nyesika saying to the detriment of Ghanaians. Look, I am of the view that what we call alluvial mining should be banned for another 50 years in Ghana, because it is the basis of all this problem. The water in which we get our things from, that is what the people are using. And if chiefs will even go further to say that 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers away from a water body, mining shouldn't occur, it will take us a long way.
But then it means that the president's decision to meet the chiefs is a step in the right direction.
It came in
because
late.
you just talked about
Yes.
the role the chiefs should play.
I agree with the chiefs.
Okay.
I agree with the DCEs.
Okay.
I agree that government and the ministry must engage these people.
Okay.
I'm not writing that off.
Okay.
Because what it is in our laws is that the ministry gives somebody a license, he goes to a village, goes to see the chief, I have a license to mine in your town, and the chief doesn't have a say.
Okay.
So I believe strongly that before somebody's having approved to be given a license or a lease, the chiefs, the DCE, the ministry must come together and agree before the person goes to the site.
Right.
And in doing so, I believe strongly it will protect the water bodies.
Right.
2, we were in this country when the expose of Anas Arimaya came out. The president doesn't have proof.
Speaking of which, Anas Arimaya has actually issued a statement in reaction to...
He said his boy is available.
What's Charles Papa Bisu, Charles Bisu issued. You know, he issued a statement earlier to debunk or to dismiss the allegation that the NDC made that he should be arrested and prosecuted. He said he's innocent. Anas has just come back. It's a very long statement. That's what
Summarize what he said.
He summarized it well, but the long and short of it is that he thinks that Charles Bisu cannot,
run away from the original bribery. He took the bribe. He took.
We're actually built to speak to Charles Bisu. If there's time, we'll speak to him because he wants to react to what Anas has said. So please go ahead. 3, we were in this country where a minister of local government, which my brother respects so much, a lawyer, met DCEs across the country. And this lady said that, we know you DCEs who are involved in Galamsey, and we are going to publish the list. This is Hajia Alima Mahama. Till today, the list has not come out. And even the DCEs at the time, majority have been confirmed again for their second term. And you ask this question, why is MPP doing this to Ghana? If you knew the people, why didn't you name and shame? And even let them feel the effect of not coming back to the position. But because of the interest, they renominated them to go back to that place. 3, we had a situation of this $3 million used for drones because they said the forests are somewhere we will not be able to see what's going on there. They interviewed a DC. He said that, look, we come here, we hear the noise of bulldozers in the forest, but we can't tell. Some are on the water bodies. We do not have equipment to go. Look at this. Now, it is very lucrative for an army officer or a military personnel to go to Galamsey site than go to Lebanon, than go to Somalia on peacekeeping. You know why? When they go to these Galamsey sites, they seize cars, they seize gold, they seize weapons, they seize cash. And the question is, has government come out to say that
We went to 3 sites and we arrested those 500 excavators. We got 20 grams of gold. We seized 3 million cedis cash and we put it in government chest. Never. Even the weapons that they use, we've never heard of. So you ask yourself, that tax, interministerial tax committee that went out, did they go for their own selves? Because whatever they got, I think it is fair. Oh, we got this, we got this, we got this. We seized it. Let's go and put the gold in Bank of Ghana as treasury. We will appreciate that. But that didn't happen. And that is one of the bases why I think that the president hasn't been fair to Ghanaians. And I don't trust his intent to say that he wants to kill Galamsey.
Okay.
Let me continue. We had the issue of Aisawan. Aisawan was arrested in this country. We heard she was deported. It's not me. The president, when he was on a tour, said that he himself is not sure if this lady was deported. Go to Tanzania. There was a Chinese lady who was dealing in ivory. They arrested her and they jailed her for 15 years. Today, in Tanzania, no Chinese involved in ivory. We thought that that would be a sign. You remember when the Chinese ambassador said that his people come from China, he doesn't even know how they get the visas, and they don't even know Ghana, but Ghanaians will work with them and go and show them what to do. So the problem is not us, it's the Ghanaians. I ask this question. Lead, mercury, where does it pass into this country? Who are the importers of lead and mercury? Don't excavators, lead and mercury pass through Thermoport? Has the government taken it upon himself to monitor where those things go? Those things move straight from there to these sites. And that is what is killing us. It's somebody's business today. And I think that the president should call his boys to order to monitor the lead, the mercury, the excavators that come into Ghana daily, what they refer to as Sanfan, they still pass through Thermoport daily. And you ask yourself, are they working as a country? No. That is why I think that the president has failed.
Okay.
4.
Well, I'd wish that you could end with 4 because we're really running out of time. Yes. We don't have all day. Thank you. Well, no, this is one more.
You see?
Yes.
I can go on and on.
Right. To cite
The
instances to show
reasons
that
why I think that the president
It's not
is
serious
not trustworthy on the line of Galamsey.
right.
Because I think that he has all what it takes to stop this thing or to reduce the menace.
Right.
But he has not done that.
Right.
And I think that even in his backyard in Chebi, like a few weeks ago, or more than a week, there was rain.
Right.
And I watch videos on social media and my heart break. And I heard a man in the background saying, people think that the land belongs to them, so they are allowed to dig and destroy the land in the name of community mining. That's why I asked that, what is community mining? Was it a phrase to just allow people to go into the field and destroy? Because if illegal mining is banned, why bring another name, community mining, and allow people and give people license on that basis? Right. Maybe there's a law that I'm not aware, but I have read the Act 703. I haven't seen anything there. And that is why I stand here today and I say, Mr. President, I'm talking to you directly. If the fundamentals to stop Galamsey is wrong, and you allow your party functionaries, like Wuntumi, like all of them, to continue to be degrading our land, then I beg to differ.
Okay.
The water bodies will expose you, and that's what we have as a nation today.
Mr. Eric Chum, I've heard the senior vice president of Imani, Kofi Bento, saying that the meeting that the president has had with the chiefs and MMDCEs would have no impact because the president has all the powers to fight this menace. He's chosen not to use it. So what is he on about with this meeting of chiefs and MMDCs? And in that this meeting was only some kind of a showmanship, just to create a certain impression that he's fighting Galamsey, when indeed he's not.
I mean, for the very first time in a long time, I think that today I have to be very careful not to be out of character. Let me tell you something. I think there's a lot of intellectual arrogance in this country.
Right.
there's a lot of intellectual arrogance, and sometimes pure disrespect. Democracy is hinged on people expressing divergence in views and preferring ideas and all of those
Absolutely.
things. And now, when you become so emotional, I'm using emotional advisedly because I don't want to be, this is early morning TV. You would say all sorts of things. And sometimes you sit at the back of a computer and write all sorts of things. The president has a mandate. He has stakeholders. There are people within every single community that you go to. He's taking out the chiefs and the elders of these particular communities. And then also a local government support system, which is the DCEs, who, by virtue of us trying to decentralize our governance system, have a certain semblance of a structure of what should happen at Jubilee House.
True.
So when you go to a district chief executive's office, it's almost a semblance of a small, because he's the president's representative at that particular local level. So for anybody to suggest that, with all the things that we have seen, and the fact that people and everybody appreciates the fact that we need to do something about Galamsey, that president calling these people together and making sure that we are all on the same page and singing from the same hymn sheet is an exercise in futility. It's neither here nor there. These are the same people who, when we have conversations or there are certain disagreements, we say, oh, let's dialogue.
Stakeholder dialogue.
Let's engage. These are the same people who are saying that we should have a stakeholder engagement on the economy.
Hasn't it come a bit too late?
No, but you see, the point is that the president attested to the fact that in as much as A, B, C, D has happened, has been done, we still are having challenges. And that he's still committed to ensuring that we forestall these challenges and have a certain semblance of sanity within the space. You see, when you become a bit emotional with this whole politics, he's talking about president's backyard and Chebi and everything, right? And he's an NDC member. Go to Bole and see if there's no Galamsey there. Go there. You see, but when you do that, you now degenerate the conversation to pettiness, right? The point is that I come from a place. I'm an Achim. And when I was a child, even till date, when people say you're an Achim, it says, Achim kwa. So this thing that they're talking about is not even just about politics.
Yeah.
It's personal. And so everybody that is on Achim actually prides themselves with the fact that the brim is an integral part of our existence. So I'm not doing politics with this. I come from a place where when you go, you find traces of Galamsey. And even a couple of days ago when I was on Good Morning, I said it.
Yeah.
However, there are communities within that same space where the chiefs and the people have convicted that Galamsey will not happen there, and there's no Galamsey there. Mm-hmm. I give an example of a place called Hemai, right? Where the chief there says that as far as I am still alive, nobody will do Galamsey, and nobody is able to go and do Galamsey there. What it means, if you have been very objective with ourselves, is that there's a clear connivance across a certain value chain.
True.
And I believe that you cannot enter any village in this country with an excavator and the people within that community will not know that this big equipment machine has come into our village and has entered the forest. You understand? Because we live in communities that even if a goat comes into that community and it doesn't belong to that community, they will know that. So we can play ostrich. You can call names. You can cast aspersions and say, oh, MPP has done this and all of that. Are you saying that if today there is an operation that is being run and everybody that you find that is involved in Galamsey is an MPP person? If that is even the principle, this was the same political party that prior to the 2020 elections was going around telling Galamseyers that when we come, we'll let you work. And that the people who have been convicted and who have been taken to through the judicial process would actually be given an amnesty to come back and continue the Galamsey. So if you're doing these things, you have to hinge this thing based on principles. I have a challenge with why we are unable to activate technology. I mean, he said something that I agree with him. Every single excavator that comes into this country with $100 or $50 can be tracked. So if you have an excavator that is worth $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 in excess, a $50, $100 investment would be able to make us know exactly where those excavators are going. And so I'm not one of those people who would defend just for the sake of it. Let's activate technology. Community mining is not a bad thing, because in this country we allow small-scale mining, which is legal. And we are saying that in those areas where there's a certain propensity for people to go into illegal mining, they will mine, they will leave the thing unattended, they will not reclaim the land, there's no chain of responsibility as to who is responsible for that, they will defy the EPA rules and all of those things. Let's find a system where we would ensure that there is accountability and that the Minerals Commission and all the other stakeholders are knowing that I, Eric Chum, am involved in community mining in this space. We have rules of engagement. That is what community mining is about. Apart from that, even the president didn't even talk about that. Apart from that, there are alternative livelihood initiatives that have been undertaken by this government. There's a lady who is responsible, I think her name is Carol or something. I always forget her.
Carol's Louis.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
And you go into communities, last time I checked, about 15,000 young people have been engaged in alternative livelihood initiatives.
Okay.
So, yes, but we still are having issues, right? We are grappling with some of these challenges because there's a certain defiance, sometimes even from the local people. I saw a video where the guy says, oh, the cocoa farm belongs to me. I can do whatever I want to do with the farm. You understand what I'm saying? What it means is that we still have a need to go into those communities with the help of these people that we are talking about, the chiefs and the DCEs. And I have also made the call. The president has met them. I think that sometimes you see there's always a certain principle of the carrot and the stick. The president has met them, has reiterated the fact that he expects the DCEs and MCEs in areas where this thing is happening to up their ante. So if you're a DCE and your excuse is that a big man is calling you and putting pressure on you, there's no bigger man in this country than the president. And so it is my call, and I'll say it, and it's a bit controversial. As the weeks ensue...
But Eric, but some will say, but once I say it, how do I trust the president when the Ashanti Regional Chairman, that's a Chairman Wuntumi, has actually entered into a zone he's not supposed to enter to engage in illegal mining? We've read the Forestry Commission's statement. We've read the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources Minister says you have no business being there because you don't have the license to do that. And some have said, these are low-hanging fruit. In fact, the small-scale illegal miners have actually issued a statement. And they're saying that when their machines are seen in places where they aren't supposed to be there, those machines are banned.
You see.
How come somebody's machine has been left off the hook and he's actually being advised as to what it should do? And that if we're applying the law, let's apply the law, fairly and justly.
Equally.
Well, principles
Yes.
are principles. We as a country in 1992 decided to be governed by
Article
Let
17.
me finish.
Or you want to do chapter 5 and chapter 6?
Listen.
I'm not a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer.
Please
I'm not a lawyer.
Because of time.
Right.
Because of time, yes.
And so we are going to be governed by the tenets of democracy. If Wuntumi or whoever you are mentioning
It's been
has
called
filed in law,
It must be dealt with.
it must be dealt with. I have absolutely no challenge with that. You understand what I'm saying? But you see, the law is such that people have to go through a certain process.
Right. I agree.
You understand? You understand? People have to go through. That's a principle, is it?
Yes.
Go through a certain process, and be found that they have done those things.
Okay.
You understand? And because the real essence of democracy is not to protect criminals,
Right.
but it's to protect the innocent.
Absolutely.
You understand? So I can be sitting there, you mention my name that, Eric Chum is involved in Galamsey, then all of a sudden, the cry is that put him in jail.
That's not evidence.
But that is not evidence. So when there are these things, and the reason why the DCs are important to me is the fact that when they govern or they superintend over these various communities, they will be able to know the individuals who are actually involved in these things.
Okay.
And that at a point where we've all decided that this is a national conversation and it's even hinging on a national security impact, then you cannot feign, and I'm going to say it again, you cannot feign ignorance. You cannot hide behind any big man or woman who is pushing you to do what you're not supposed to do, because the biggest man, by virtue of what
has empowered you to do what you're supposed
to do what you're supposed to do.
Let me go to Mr. Joe Jackson and then Michael Andy. I don't know how we're going to do this because we've just 11 minutes.
I'll really
make it very
quick. But I want to take Eric on one issue.
Right.
You see,
I said a lot of things.
He said no, but on one specific
just one issue. That's the only part he disagrees with.
Which, no, I disagree with a lot of things, but this specific issue, I want to deal with it.
Okay.
You see, when we've seen a government apply extrajudicial measures to deal with a particular menace and justify the extrajudicial measures because of the effect of what is happening, you can't have your cake and eat it, Eric. You cannot now turn around and tell me that I have seen a video of Akunta mining. I saw a video, I saw all these things, and all of a sudden you stand here and you say, let's go back to the law. Please, don't do that.
No, but
let's move on.
There's a lot of consistency from your position.
No, what I'm saying.
So what do you want us to do?
I'm saying
Are you those ones advocating that people to be shot on site?
I'm saying that
we can't do that.
At the very least, expedite the action so that all of us can believe that you are truly
against it.
And I want to start my conversation, really. I just wanted to put this. The issue is that we are mixing two things.
Okay.
We're mixing two things. There's the small-scale miner.
Yes.
People from the community, boys without jobs, etc., who are doing
business,
all sorts of
shovel business,
who may have one or two equipment to help them. Then there's what I call the next category, which is people with
excavator.
No, they have some paper.
Yes.
Okay.
So they have some paper which has been issued in Accra, which was issued really without the chief's consent. They didn't consult the DC. They didn't consult the security council in the district, and he has a paper. And that is and if we mix the two, we can. When I ask you to address the issue of say the video I saw of Akunta mining, you can now correspond to say, oh, but there are people in the village who won't allow. They're two separate issues.
Okay.
And if we've been able to provide alternative employment, etc., let's say we've addressed this category. The perspective we have now is that those with the paper are supported from
the ministry.
Well, I'm cautious.
The powers that be.
Well, the powers that be, let me call it. And the powers that be have given them the impetus to do the things they're doing.
Right.
You know, and here I say the president told me, and not when I say me, I don't mean me in my personal capacity, but he told all of us that he's put his presidency on the line. Yeah. You see, when you put something on the line, it means that I am ready to lose it if I lose this battle.
Right.
Mr. President, you told all of us, let's see you put it on the line.
Right.
That's really why and I have a different approach. I'm saying now, we know that the conspiracy is huge. Let's move on to social action.
Okay.
Let's stigmatize Galamsey. I want us to get to the point where every church that uses a Galamsey-related person to do
donation,
fundraising, we call out the church. Let's popularize the hashtag stigmatize Galamsey. Let's go to the schools and talk to them. Let's get to the point where if you are involved in Galamsey, you cannot come out indecent, because this is killing us.
Okay.
Very soon, we'll be fighting over water.
Oh, yes.
Very soon, there'll be cutlasses drawn in communities because there's no water.
Yeah.
This is
It's an existential threat.
Thank you.
Michael.
Well, more. So I imagine a young child or a baby coming into this world and unfortunately was born by a Ghanaian parent on Ghanaian soil. And the future that greets him or her is one of a society whose vegetation, forest zones, water bodies, everything destroyed. There is no future for that child.
Right.
What we are doing today is basically killing our own nation. Unfortunately, the chiefs appear helpless. Indeed, the state has all it takes, and this is why I agree with Benton.
Money.
Now listen, you have all the powers that be. You've expended over $200 million on this fight. Nothing we are seeing. When you talk about alternative livelihood programs, for instance, these are peanuts. Let's investigate the alternative livelihood programs. I mean, just doing one thing, the other, touches here and there, won't resolve this. And you see, the fundamental issue is this. There is no love for Ghana. You look at the Galamsey issue, look at the La Bianca story, look at cars being auctioned, everything is in a mess. We don't love this country. That's the fundamental thing. And it will be difficult for many to trust government wanting to fight this menace. You see, I say this, you own a car, I own a car, we own cars. When your car tie is having a problem and you ignore it and say, okay, I can see that the horn is also challenged, so let me go and fix the horn and leave the car tie, eventually you are going to run into accident. Right. When we say that we have free SHS, and that is about the future of young people in this country, this behind us is also about the future of young people in this country. You are giving them education and expecting them to live in this environment. You are giving them education. We don't even want to talk about the quality of education being given our lads. Like he's saying. So they come and then live in a society where we're all going to be struggling for water. This is an existential threat. I don't know why. I don't know what the difficulty is that the lands minister, national security minister, interior minister wouldn't be asked to lay down their tools. Let us show some seriousness. I mean, the president said it, that it is not easy. We know that. But we've given you the mandate to help crack the whip. He said it. We know the MMDCEs who are involved in this. Let us begin to crack the whip. Show some seriousness.
Okay.
You don't come and party Hiasika. You see?
No, but you see, you guys, I mean,
I think you should hold your horses. No. I really think
just land so that we can go, because we have just 2 minutes to go.
Party Hiasika. Eric, I'm rather even coming to support you. What it means, people talk about public financing of political parties in this country. But again, it also exposes how we've interfaced the informal system of doing things to what we've now come to accept as a Western liberal democratic order. Right. And that is not making things work for us very well. Right. Now, you must sort out party people. We are unable to grow the economy. We are unable to expand the economy. We are unable to create job opportunities. We are stagnant. It's a stagnant economy. What you can only do is to prey on your natural resources. And that is what is happening. So policy.
That's a very interesting angle.
Policy can help address these issues.
And that's what
it is not only about coming here and want. Yeah. It connects to so many other things.
Right.
And that is why governance is a serious business.
That's why next week when we come, we'll look at the way forward.
Can I make a suggestion? No, 1 minute. 1 minute. 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
It's to Eric.
Eric, right.
Eric, have you guys thought? The NPP will always say the NDC doesn't prefer any solutions.
Yeah.
I know mining leases are renewable yearly. True of us?
Yeah.
Good. You are the minister. You approve licenses yearly. You know this particular person is not doing the things we authorize him to do.
Right.
Next year he comes, you still release the license for him to go back to the
So
site.
you're wondering why?
Why?
Okay.
I think that those things, once he comes back and he's going contrary,
Okay.
his license should not be renewed. He should be knocked off.
Let me do this. Alhaji Haruna from Ashaman says, Moro, good morning. MPP and then Akufo Addo cannot fight Galamsey because there are some party people who say they need money and they want to fight, and they win the fight. I don't understand what you're saying, Haruna from Ashaman. Good morning, Moro. Akufo Addo in opposition said it is Kaso Ekomdi, and Ghanaians didn't understand him. Gold in tree means Sika, and if you Ghanaians have given him the mandate, and if in power, he's showing you where the Sika is, and how you are sitting in Sika gold, and yet you are hungry, then you are crying. Good morning, Metro TV. My name is Matthew from Asinfosu. The least said about Galamsey, the better. The president has failed, and the good people of Ghana have seen that. His appointees are the Galamsey gurus. He thinks leading a government is about grammar. His level of incompetence is simply unprecedented. Tell the MVP man to bury his head in shame. Okay, I don't want to read that. Now, Nanama from Ashoman says, good morning, Moro. I want to make some good suggestions towards the Galamsey saga. The fight should be given to communities themselves. So the people in the community say no to Galamsey. Nobody can go to that community and do Galamsey. I also think that no water should be transported to these Galamsey communities since they have destroyed their own source of water. Shoot on sight from the air because no one has a right to be in the forest area. Thank you, Nanama. Nanama, that's quite radical. Ibrahim Jonathan from Tamale says, Ghana debt has reached an unsustainable rate of 104 to GDP, and that's bad. The evidence in the recent downgrading by Fitch and Moody. How did we get to this stage? It is only the selfish and incompetent MPP that's taken us here. Ibrahim Jonathan. And Auntie Emilia says, this your panelist, Michael Abbey, is a very sensible guy. Michael, that's a feather in your cap. My name is Howdy Moro. Thanks for watching. It's been another edition of Inside Pages. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, Saturday, 8 a.m. we'll be here. I want to thank the panelists. I don't want to mention everybody's name. They know themselves. Eric, Mr. Joe Jackson, Michael Abbey, and Titi Katano. Have a great day. Bye-bye.